Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Jenny's Travelling Spoon. We're going to be making my favourite spaghetti bolognese sauce. I don't like using the store-bought pasta sauces because I find that there's a lot of hidden ingredients and numbers and codes that really shouldn't be there. So I try to make my food as natural as possible. If you like this video, please comment, like and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video. Now let's get started with this recipe. For this recipe, you're going to need 3 cans of 400-gram diced tomatoes. I usually blend one of these cans just so I can get a nice puree. If you don't have that, you can also use the passata sauce, which is really nice. And if you really don't have any of those, you can use tomato paste. And for the star ingredient of our dish, I'm using a nice quality beef mince. You can also use lamb or pork or mix it up. You're also going to need a medium to large onion. This onion is probably a bit too big for the recipe today. So we'll probably use about 3/4 of it. 4 medium to large size carrots, 1 large red capsicum or 2 medium sized capsicums. The capsicums I find are the one ingredients that really gives your sauce a nice depth of flavor. Now garlic can be to your taste, however much you want to use in it. This is half a head of garlic. I'll probably end up putting this and tasting the sauce and just seeing if the flavor is intense enough. Just put garlic to your taste. Some people cannot stand the taste of garlic, but I still think the sauce needs that depth of flavor that you'd miss if you didn't have it in there. White pepper and some black pepper, which I can't find at the moment, but I'll track down somewhere. Again, this is to taste. You'll need at least, I think, about 1 teaspoon of each. The next ingredient you're going to need for this recipe is the mixed herbs. I usually use a tablespoon and maybe a half for the recipes. If you do have fresh herbs on hand, it's always best to use fresh. I think it gives a better flavor, but most of the time I'm using the dried herbs. There's nothing wrong with that. You can just get the normal spaghetti. My favorite spaghetti is angel hair pasta. Clings to the sauce and just combines really nicely. So I do vary the size of the carrots because I want some of them to actually break down and melt into the sauce, but I also still want to know that there's carrots in the dish. If you want to make this dish for kids, you can chop up the veggies really, really small so they melt into the sauce so they don't know they're eating their veggies. So you can have some undercover vegetables happening. I'll make sure I measure everything and I'll put the ingredients down in the video description. I find the capsicum is the one ingredient that gives it a nice saucy taste. If I have more capsicums, I like to add them as well into this. So I'd even use up to 2 red capsicums. Then just chop it up, dice it nice and finely. I keep my onions in the fridge because I find that it solidifies the vapors. So this is how much veggies I would be adding into the dish compared to how much meat I would put in. I always try to pack out the dish as much as possible with veggies, and you can also add mushrooms into this, a couple of nice brown or white mushrooms chopped up, and normally I would also add 2 stalks of celery into here. It gives it a nice base. Okay, we're just going to start with putting a bit of oil in the saucepan to heat up. And the first thing I like to do is to add in the capsicum. And as you can see, I've got it on this plate and I've got it mixed with the carrots, but I like to get the capsicum started first so they can start sweating down. Just give him a good stir every few minutes. Once you can kind of see like the capsicum juice mix in with the oil on the bottom of the pan, you can add the rest of the vegetables in. Now I'm going to put half of the onions and reserve some for later. Give it just a nice good stir, and this is on a medium to high heat. And so once you've got the ingredients mostly heated through, we can start adding the canned tomatoes in here. So give them a good stir and let them sit there and come to the boil. At this stage I do like to add the dried herbs if I'm using dried herbs. This gives them a nice longer chance to actually rehydrate and incorporate into the flavour. On the other side, I've just put a saucepan and I'm going to boil the pasta according to the packet instructions. Okay, so now we've got the sauce boiling away. We're going to turn it down to a simmer. And we're going to put the lid on and just move it to the other smaller head so we can simmer it. I like to simmer it for at least half an hour, sometimes even more. The longer you simmer it, the more the flavours combine. If you're in a rush and you don't want to simmer for that long, you can just simmer while you're browning the meat, which is what we're going to be doing next. And it still tastes nice. I actually don't like putting any oil in here because there's going to be fat coming out of the meat. So we'll just turn this on high just to get the saucepan hot. So once the saucepan's been sitting there for a while heating up, we're just going to add the meat. Okay, now it's just a simple matter of browning off the meat. Okay, we've just left this with the lid on for a bit, and it just helps us get to the browning stage faster. And you can see this mince is a bit fatty, and once we get all the meat browned off, I like to get rid of some of this fat. You can choose to leave it. You. I've left about a third of the fatty fluid at the bottom. You don't want to get rid of too much of it because there goes your taste and all the flavour. And now at this stage I like to add the garlic. I'll taste it later and see if the garlic is to my taste, and I may add some more. If you want to start with 1 tablespoon of garlic, if you're not a fan, or even 1 teaspoon, and just go up from there. This is about 1 teaspoon of pepper. You can also add chilies at this stage as well. The tip here is not to make them go like really brown and crispy. You want them still to be able to absorb flavour. They're nice and brown. Now we're going to add them to the vegetables that we've been simmering. We're going to turn the element down to low. And we're just basically going to put the meat right on top. If you wanted to make it a bit more saucy, you can also add some more tomatoes in here, or you can add some water and some tomato paste or some passata sauce. And put the lid on there, let it simmer away. The longer you let it simmer, the tastier it is. You can eat it straight away now, it's all cooked through. But if you want the ultimate flavour from the dish, then if you want the best flavour from the dish, then simmer it away. You can do it for 15 minutes, you can do it for an hour. It's up to you. I've just added the rest of the onions in there, and I'm just going to let it cook through for another 10 minutes and then turn it off. If you like this video, please comment, like and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video.